I'm on the A299 in Kent, otherwise known as the Thanet Way. It was built in the 1930s as an unemployment relief project, but as you can see, it's been massively expanded since then. Basically, this is a motorway. The speed limit here is 70 miles an hour, and many of these cars are doing much, much more than 70 miles an hour. Now just look at the conditions. We're standing at the edge of Thanet Way services, and when you're working in a services like this, that's what you're facing. You're facing people who are psychologically on the motorway. By the time they come into this service station, a lot of these drivers have been on the road for hours at these speeds and in these conditions. They're coming down that access road with a motorway mentality in their minds. You need to take a lot of care, because 30 miles an hour to those people is going to seem awfully slow. There's about 1,000 cars a day come through here. That's 365,000 cars a year. Now, of those, some of them will be driven by people who are elderly, who are perhaps losing their faculties. Maybe their peripheral vision or their situational awareness isn't good. Some will be driven by very inexperienced drivers. Some will be driven by people who are drinking or who are on drugs. Some will be driving cars that shouldn't be on the road, or stolen cars. Some will be having a row in the car with their passenger. Some will have rowed that morning with their wife or their husband. Some will have toothache. There's all sorts of distractions. Now, this particular service station is run by the Hammond Group, which is very well known in this industry and a very safety conscious and very professional organisation. And those in the know looking around here will see the signs that this company has designed out as many of the problems as possible. But all you can do with very good design and safety consciousness is reduce the risk. You cannot eliminate it. If there's any human factor involved at all, an element of risk will remain. The rest of it is up to you. So you're on site and you've got a long list of stuff to go through. You start with the asbestos register, then the visitors register, then the site maintenance register. You're going to do your risk assessment and your planning. You'll have the right PPE, and you'll have discussed a safe system of work with the site manager, who will have signed your clearance certificate. But finally, you need to do the barriers. And if you work for Xmo Strata, or you're a subcontractor for Xmo Strata, you're going to be doing that properly. So it's going to take about 15 minutes.
I think these conditions are typical of a UK winter. It's very wet, we've had very high winds, and our guys need to be even more careful than they normally are when they're working on site. There is a black humour in the industry, and we do say that it is a disciplinary offence to die or be injured on the job. I think time preparing, setting up, assessing the risks and mitigating them is time well spent.
Traffic coming off that slip road is doing 60, 70, some of those vehicles are doing 80 miles an hour. Now, okay, they're slowing down as they come into the service station, but then there are conflicting traffic patterns. Some people are going onto any one of these 14 pumps. Some of them, in fact, are going straight through the pumps because they want to park on the other side and just use the shop. Not all of them are going to do something logical. So even if you stand here and you work out the traffic patterns, it may be the driver that does something irrational or illogical that actually causes the accident that you're trying to prevent. So use the barriers and use the van. Now, these vehicles are specially designed to make them even more effective as safety barriers. They've got this reflective safety tape down here, and particularly across the rear of the vehicle. Even the advertising across here is designed to make them highly visible from a distance.
We sent a crew to a site to change the electronic prices on the pole sign. And one of the hazards was fast flowing traffic into the forecourt. We've set the barriers up, and the procedure of Xmo Strata is to use the van as a barrier. We built the tower and we had a freak snowstorm. Within minutes, the forecourt was full of snow, the scaffold was full of snow. We decided to abort the job. We were just in the process of dismantling the tower when there was an almighty thud. After we heard the thud, we walked round the side of the van and you can see where the guy's coming. He's coming in a straight line. He's gone into a skid, and you can see in the snow that he's turned his steering wheel, and he's just caught the back of the van. His mind was elsewhere. He's late for a flight from Stansted Airport. By using the van, I'm 99% certain it saved a life, if not serious injury. The van wasn't there, he'd have just carried on the skid. The momentum would have took him into the tower. The guys were still on the tower, dismantling the tower. There'd have been serious injury, if not death.
So, securing the work area, putting up the barriers, using the van. This stuff is not voluntary, it's compulsory. And it's compulsory for a reason. Yes, it takes a bit of time, but it saves lives. We've actually heard today that it saves lives. And remember that very ironic phrase from the managing director of Xmo Strata. Dying on the job, being injured on the job is a disciplinary offence. This is the first of a series of videos and similar initiatives by Xmo Strata, so look out for the next one and we'll see you then. In the meanwhile, stay safe.